hamba, siya hamba, siya hamba kukenye kwenko, siya hamba, siya hamba, siya hamba kukenye kwenko.
Everyone. As we get ready to begin our evening program, I ask that you join us as our young sisters come and lead us out in singing our Black national anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Rejoicing,
Let us pray. Our kind and ever-loving Father, we pause, Lord, this afternoon first to acknowledge your presence with us and to express our gratitude to you for the God that you have been to us over these years. This month, Lord, we celebrate Black History Month. It is a time when we stop to reflect and remember the legacy of those who came before us, those who through much sacrifice and hardship and tears and even death have paved the way for us, affording us and our children a better tomorrow. We thank you, God, for how you continue to lead us as a people, for the accomplishments, Lord, that we see in our Black men and women. We ask now that you will come and bless us in this program this afternoon. May we be inspired by it. May we be made to feel more hopeful. And maybe, God, at the end of this, purpose in our hearts that we will play our parts and our role for a better tomorrow. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Good evening again, everyone, and welcome to our annual Sister to Sister Black History program. From the very inception, it has always been a priority of this ministry to keep in the forefront of our minds and that of our young women an awareness of our history as a people. We deem it necessary to remind them not only of the importance of celebrating their rich cultural heritage, but also of the importance of showing appreciation for the hardships endured and the sacrifices made by their foreparents, affording them a better and a brighter future. This year, our Black History theme is Voices of Strong Black Women, Past and Present, Making a Difference. Our young women will attempt to relive through poetry, dance, and spoken words the impactful contributions made by these remarkable women. So I invite you at this time to sit back and relax and enjoy from the comfort of your home this virtual Black History presentation. Thank you. Dear Black girl, there is something that I want to tell you. Don't be afraid to use your voice. Your thoughts, opinions, and ideas are just as important as anybody else's. And when you speak with boldness and purpose. Have courage. Be confident. And always be true to yourself. Live your life fearlessly. Your voice has great power. Don't be afraid to utilize it when needed. You're not an angry young woman. You're a young woman who has something important to say. Your voice matters. and so do you.
I am an African American, daughter of the soil. I am special. Ridicule cannot sway me. I am strong. Obstacles cannot stop me.
I hold my head up high, proclaiming my uniqueness.
I hold my pace, continuing through adversity.
I am confident, and I can achieve my every goal, becoming all that I can be. We are all African American daughters of the soil, but most importantly, we are daughters of the Most High King.
I am an African American daughter, born with the skin the color of chocolate, bright, brilliant, and articulate, strong and bold. I am gifted enough to be the best. I am an African American daughter.
Often the target of pity. My future is not confined to charity. Give me the gift of a lifetime. Give me a dream, a door of opportunities. I will thrive. I am an African American daughter.
Do not hide my fault. Show me my wrong. I am like any other. Teach me to dream and I will become. I am an African American daughter.
I can be extraordinary, all God intended me to be. Give me a library with books. Give me an audience where I could speak. Give me an opportunity, plus the freedom to be me. And I will prove to you who I am. I am an African American daughter.
We are the new generation, not afraid to be us, uniquely gifted, black and talented, shining like the stars we are. We are the black race, making the best of us. Yes, I am an African American daughter.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See those people dressed in red. God's gonna trouble the water. They look like the people that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Now see those people all dressed in gold. God's gonna trouble the water. They look like disciples of Christ, I'm told. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Now I look over yonder and what do I see? God's gonna trouble the water. I saw God's angels coming for me. God's gonna trouble the water. Now if you don't believe me that I've been redeemed, God's gonna trouble the water. Then follow me down to Jordan Stream. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. The thief in the fire furnace I go. God's gonna trouble the water. Like David slew Goliath with just one shot. God's gonna trouble the water. My faith in the Lord is very high. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in but still my soul is heavenly bound. God's gonna trouble the water. I've told you once and I'll tell you twice. God's gonna trouble the water. I won't bow to nobody but Jesus Christ. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, wait in the water. Wait in the water, children. Wait in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Sarah Breedlove, who later would come to be known as Madam C.J. Walker, was born on December 23, 1867, on the same Delta, Louisiana plantation where her parents Owen and Minverna Anderson Breedlove had been enslaved before the end of the Civil War. This child of sharecroppers transformed herself from an uneducated farm laborer and laundress into one of the 20th century's most successful self-made women entrepreneurs. Then, with the discovery of a revolutionary hair care formula for black women, everything changed. By her death in 1990, Walker managed to overcome astonishing odds, building a storied beauty empire from the ground up, amassing wealth unprecedented among black women, and devoting her life to philanthropy and social activism. She believed that her first duty was to humanity, and as such she became known for her generosity and her philanthropic endeavors, including a donation toward the construction of an Indianapolis YMCA in 1913. Let us hear now her own spoken words as she shares with us her philosophy of life. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Madam C.J. Walker. I am a woman who came from the cotton fields of the South. From there, I was promoted to the wash tub. From there, I was promoted to the cook kitchen. And from there, I promoted myself into the business of manufacturing hair goods and preparation. Whatever success I have attained has been the result of much hard work and many sleepless nights. If I have accomplished anything in life, it is because I have been willing to work hard. I am not satisfied in making money for myself. I even endeavor to provide employment for hundreds of the women of my race. My object in life is not simply to make money for myself. I want you to understand that your first duty is to humanity. I want others to look at us and see that we care not just about ourselves, but about others. Girls and women of our race must not be afraid to take hold of business endeavors and, by patient industry, close economy, determined effort, and close applications to business. Bring success out of a number of business opportunities that lie at their door. So don't sit down and wait for the opportunities to come. Get up and make them. Thank you.
Fannie Lou Hamer was an American voting and women's rights activist, community organizer, and a leader in the civil rights movement. She was born on October 6, 1917 in Montgomery County, Mississippi. Hamer grew up in poverty and left school to work by age 12. She got involved in the civil rights movement in the 1960s, a time when black voters were disenfranchised in the southern states. During the course of her activist career, Hamer was threatened, harassed, arrested, assaulted, severely beaten, and shot at several times. But none of these things ever stopped her from battling racism and poverty. We could learn a lot from her example as we strive to overcome our own adversities. Hamer died on March 14, 1977, leaving behind a legacy as tireless champion for racial equality. Let us listen now to a part of one of her most stirring and radical speeches on the subject of civil rights. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Miss Fannie Lou Hamer, and I live in 626 East Lafayette Street in Brewville, Mississippi. I'm very glad to be here for the first time in Indianola, Mississippi, to speak in a mass meeting. And you just don't have any idea what a pleasure this is to me. The Bible says righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Sin is beginning to reproach America today, and we want what is rightfully ours. It's a shame before God that people will let hate not only destroy us, but it will destroy them. Because a house divided against itself cannot stand. Every night of my life that I laid down before I go to sleep, I pray for these people that despitefully used and abused us. God is not pleased. God is not pleased at all the murdering and all the brutality and all the killings for no reason at all. God is not pleased at the Negro children in the state of Mississippi suffering from malnutrition. God is not pleased because we have to go raggedy each day. God is not pleased because we have to go to the field and work from 10 to 11 hours for $3 lousy. We must trust God, and all we have to do is launch out into the deep. You can pray until you faint, but if you don't get up and try to do something, God is not going to put it in your lap. If you don't speak out, ain't nobody going to speak out for you. And we can no longer ignore the fact that we can't sit down and wait for things to happen and wait for things to change. Because as long as they can keep their feet on our neck, they will always do it. But it's time for us to stand up and be women and men. I believe tonight that one day in Mississippi, even if I have to die for this, we shall overcome. We shall overcome means something to me tonight. We shall overcome means as much to me as amazing grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Because if grace has saved a wretch like me, then we will overcome. Now we can see, and one day little Negro children, the little Negro boys and the little Negro girls won't be afraid to walk down the street because of so much hate. And one day, by standing up and going to the courthouse to try to register and vote, we can get attention of that's concerned about us. Before I leave you, I would like to quote an old hymn that my mother used to sing. Should earth against my soul engage, and fiery darts be hurled, when I can smile at Satan's rage and face this frowning world. I believe tonight there's going to be change, regardless of how they have beaten and abused us for all these years. We always cared about what's going on. We have prayed and we have hoped for God to bring us about change. But there's going to be change, not only for Mississippi, not only for the people in the United States, but people all over the world. Thank you.
Mary McLeod Bethune was an American educator, stateswoman, and civil rights activist born on July 10, 1875. The July-born womaness was one fierce woman who spent most of her life dedicated to the education and freedom of African American slaves. For nearly a decade, Bethune worked as an educator. She believed that education provided the key to racial advancement. To that end, Bethune founded the Daytona Normal and Industrialized Institute for Negro Girls in Daytona, Florida in 1904. Starting out with only 5 students, she helped grow the school to more than 250 students. Her life epitomized her philosophy of Christian education. With a sense of divine destiny, clear vision, and daily awareness of God's presence and purpose, Mary Jane McLeod Bethune, this daughter of freed slaves, became the most influential black woman of her times in the United States of America. Let us hear now, in her own words, the legacy of Mary McLeod Bethune. Thank you.
If I have a legacy to leave my people, it is my philosophy of living and serving. Here then is my legacy. I leave you love. Love builds. It is positive and helpful. I leave you hope. Yesterday, our ancestors endured the degradation of slavery, yet they retained their dignity. I leave you the challenge of developing confidence in one another. This kind of confidence will aid the economic rise of the race by bringing together the pennies and dollars of our people and plowing them into useful channels. I leave you a thirst for education. Knowledge is the prime need of the hour. I leave you respect for the uses of power. Power intelligently directed can lead to more freedom. I leave you faith. Faith in God is the greatest power, but great too is faith in oneself. I leave you racial dignity. I want Negroes to maintain their human dignity at all costs. I leave you a desire to live harmoniously with your fellow man. I leave you finally a responsibility to our young people. The world around us really belongs to youth, for youth will take over its future management. This is my legacy. Thank you.
Maya Angelou was born as Marguerite Johnson on April 4th, 1928, in St. Louis, Missouri, and raised in St. Louis and Stamps, Arkansas. Maya Angelou became one of the most renowned and influential voices of our time. With over 50 honorary doctorate degrees, Dr. Maya Angelou became a celebrated poet, memoirist, educator, dramatist, producer, actress, historian, filmmaker, and civil rights activist. Let us listen now to her spoken word in the form of one of her well-known poems, Still I Rise, recited for us by 3 of our beautiful sisters. Thank you.
You may write me down in history with your twisted, bitter lies. You may trot me in the very dirt, but like dust, I still rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I got oil, pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with certainty of tides. Just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head, lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops? Weakened by my soulful cries? Does my hardness offend you? Don't take it awful hard, because I left like I got gold mines digging in my backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like air, I rise. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past, rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping wide, welling and swelling in the bare tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise. I rise. I rise. I'll rise up, rise with the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, rise with the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again.
Ruby Bridges Hall is an American civil rights activist. She was the first African American child to desegregate the all-white William Frantz Elementary School in Louisiana during the New Orleans school desegregation crisis on November 14, 1960. Bridges was born on September 8, 1954, when the U.S. Supreme Court ended racial separation in schools. She was born into a poor African-American family who had decided to settle down in New Orleans for a better life. After a few years, the city of New Orleans conducted a test for all the African-American children whose result would ensure a seat in an all-white school if they were successful. Ruby Bridges was among 6 students who was successful. Her parents debated sending their child to an all-white school, considering her safety, as white families and students did not really welcome blacks. But her mother convinced her father that the opportunity was important to let her gain a life of education. On Ruby's first day at the William Frantz Elementary School on November 14, 1960, she was escorted by federal marshals, as all sorts of retaliation from the white parents were expected. She endured all the insults and the slurs by the crowds that surrounded the school, opposing the first black child's admission in an all-white school. The chaos ensured Ruby's first day was spent in the principal's office. No teachers were willing to teach young Ruby except for Barbara Henry, who against all odds decided to educate Ruby all by herself for an entire year, with Ruby being her only student in an otherwise empty classroom. Ruby eventually went on to graduate from high school and took up a career as a travel agent. In 1999, Ruby formed the Ruby Bridges Foundation in New Orleans. Ruby's foundation promotes tolerance, respect, and appreciation for people's differences. Through education, the Ruby Bridges Foundation strives to end racism. Here now, to voice the spoken words of Ruby Bridges herself, is Miss Ayana Regis. Thank you.
My name is Ruby Bridges. I was the first black child to desegregate the all-white William Frantz Elementary School in Louisiana in 1960. The greatest lesson I learned that year in Mrs. Henry's class was the lesson that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. tried to teach us all. Never judge people by the color of their skin. God makes each of us unique in ways that go much deeper. And don't wait until you come face to face with evil to learn this lesson. Understand that we all have a common enemy and that it is evil. But I refuse to believe that there is more evil out there than good. There is more good. We just have to stand. A lot of my strength came from my upbringing. My mother had taught me that all you could do was depend on your faith, and I had that. My mother and our pastors always said, "Ruby, you have to pray for those who do you wrong and those who are your enemies." And that's what I did. I believe in my prayers. I now know that experience comes to us for a purpose. And if we follow the guidance of the Spirit within us, we will probably find out that purpose is a good one. I believe that it doesn't do yourself any good to hate. We must absolutely take care of one another. We have to come together and we have to rely on the goodness of each other. Finally, we may not all be equally guilty, but we are all equally responsible for building a decent and just society. Thank you.
walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can while I can, what I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's why I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. You hear freedom calling, calling me to answer. Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. Early in the morning, before the sun begins to shine, we're gonna start moving towards that separating line. I'm wading through muddy waters. You know I got a made of mine, and I don't mind if I lose any blood on my way to salvation. And I'll fight with the strength that I got until I die. That's why I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. And I know what's around the bend might be hard to find them out, and I just might fail, but I know I try to touch the sky. Stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. I know to prepare a place for you. I know to prepare a place for you. I know to prepare a place for you. I know to prepare a place for you.
Stacey Yvonne Abrams, born December 9th, 1973, is an American politician, lawyer, voting rights activist, and author who served in the Georgia House of Representatives from 2007 to 2017, served as minority leader from 2011 to 2017, and a member of the Democratic Party. Abrams founded the Fair Fight Action, an organization to address voter suppression. The name Stacey Abrams has become synonymous with voting accessibility and turnout. She is the first African American woman to hold positions in state and national politics. Abrams is now one of the most prominent African American female politicians in the United States. Let's listen as one of our sisters voiced one of her speeches. Thank you.
From State Legislator to candidate for Governor of Georgia. My work was rooted in knowing that the stories of people of color, of the marginalized, and the disadvantaged are often footnotes in our chapters. My mission was simple. It was for every person to feel in their gut that they were seen, heard, and valued. That their stories, too, carried power and meaning, purpose, and grace. When I ran for governor, I was told to be successful, I had to change my look, hide all my past mistakes, and use smaller words. I can be sure that many women in this room can relate. Being told that who we are is not enough to be what we imagined. But in my experience in running for governor, as a sturdy Black woman with natural hair and my mother's gap, reminded me that the power of authenticity and truth-telling, even when it is painful, embarrassing, and difficult, because when we are not honest about who we are, we give others permission to lie to us. We must be honest about the challenges that exist for women, particularly women of color, in order to find solutions that will empower others. Being a Black woman is not a deficit, it is a strength. Because I could not be where I am had I not overcome so many other barriers. Which means, I'm relentless, I'm persistent, and I'm smart. I'm a good leader. I am a good executive. I've been outside the U.S. a few times and have done a little bit of foreign policy. But most importantly, I'm smart enough to be in charge of this country. As a young Black woman growing up in Mississippi, I learned that if you don't raise your hand, people won't see you. And they won't give you attention, but it's not about attention. It is about making sure that my qualifications aren't questioned because they're not speaking to me. They're speaking to young Black women, young women of color, and young people of color who wonder if they can too be seen. I'm very aware that as an African American woman, I will be doing something that no one else has done. I'm charting a very different path, and I think that people want to know, will it work? But I also think that people are excited about the possibility of it working. Since I was 18 years old, I have developed 3 questions that I use to judge and achieve my goals. What do I want? Why do I want it? And how do I get it? I'm not a person who lowers my goals to make them easier to reach. I'm here to tell you that to be aggressive about your ambition and do not allow setbacks to set you back. Thank you.
Amanda S.C. Gorman, born March 7, 1998, is an American poet and activist. Her work focuses on issues of oppression, feminism, race, and marginalization, as well as the African diaspora. Gorman was the first person to be named National Youth Poet Laureate. She published the poetry book The One for Whom Food Is Not Enough in 2015. In 2021, she delivered her poem The Hill We Climb at the inauguration of U.S. President Joe Biden. Let us listen to her spoken word as one of our sisters, Miss Kai Smith, recites a poem that speaks to the strength of women around the world. Thank you.
When I see young women, I see the glow in their impact, how they act, what we do, and what we know. It's a kind of sheen that can't be seen in glass, diamond, or dewdrops, but the lights of a wave of girls who refuse to be stopped. We don't need permission to make it our mission to make change, to be ourselves unapologetically, confident, beautifully strange. We are that dawn of a billion beams, the radiant gleam that starred us to the girl following her dreams. You can't steal this sparkle of mine. It only comes from a woman letting herself shine. It would appear we are all here, focused, fierce, and without fear. Each a flame dazzling in the clear, although some may doubt it, we show them. We write this poem. We dazzle, we delight, we dare, and we fight. Joyous of the hustle and the spark, join us, the wondrous warriors in the dark. Women in the world making change, we hear it, how our hearts hum it. Change, we feel it, and how our dreams drum it. Change. A range of women whose stories strum it to life and the impact, in fact, even the whole world on our backs. We overcome it because women in the world don't run from it. We run it. Each of us standing on one another's shoulder, each of us a summit. Together today, and this summit, we don't just make change, we become it.
We have been listening to speeches and spoken words coming from many of our notable and prominent African American women. But as Black women, we all have a voice. And if given the opportunity, we all have something to say. What are women saying? African American women in the workplaces, in the universities, in the schools, those who work in the kitchens and the pantries and who work as nannies and housekeepers. What are African American women saying? Here now is one that represents other women. Thank you.
They take my kindness for weakness. They take my silence for speechless. They consider my uniqueness strange. They call my language slang. They see my confidence as conceit. They see my mistakes as defeat. They consider my success accidental. They minimize my intelligence to potential. My questions mean I'm unaware. My advancement is somehow unfair. Any praise is preferential treatment. To voice concern is discontentment. If I stand up for myself, I'm too defensive. If I don't trust them, I'm apprehensive. I'm defiant if I separate. I'm fake if I assimilate. Yet constantly, I am faced with this kind of hate. My character is constantly under attack. Pride for my race makes me too Black. Yet only I can be me. And who am I, you ask? I am that strong Black woman who stands on the back of my ancestors' achievements with an erect spine pointing to the stars, with pride, dignity, and respect. Which lets America know that I not only possess the ability to play by the rules, but I can make them as well. Thank you.
I am determined to walk in freedom. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm determined to walk in freedom. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm determined to walk in freedom. freedom. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Michelle LaVaughn Robinson Obama is an American attorney and author who served as the First Lady of the United States from 2009 to 2017. She was the first African American woman to serve in this position. She is the wife of former President Barack Obama. Through her four main initiatives, she became a role model for women and an advocate for healthy families, service members and their families, higher education, and international adolescent girls' education. Let us listen now to one of her famous speeches delivered at a Black Girls Rock event. Here to voice her words is Miss Jordan Sam. Thank you.
Good evening. To all the young women here tonight and all across the country, let me say again, Black girls rock. We rock, we rock. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are brilliant, you are funny. Let me tell you, I'm so proud of you and have such big hopes and dreams for every single one of you. Now, I know that's not always the message that you get from the world. I know there are voices that tell you that you're not good enough, that you have to look a certain way, act a certain way, that if you speak up, you're too loud. If you step up to lead, you're being bossy. You see, when I was a girl, I had parents who loved me and believed in me, but those doubts still worked their way inside my head and my heart. And I always worried about something. Does my hair look right? Am I too tall? Do I raise my hand too much in class? So when folks said that a girl like me shouldn't aspire to go to the very best colleges in this country, I thought maybe they're right. But eventually I learned that each of those doubts was like a little test, a challenge that either I could shrink away from or rise up to meet. And I decided to rise. Yes, I decided to rewrite those tired old scripts that defined too many of us. I decided I wasn't bossy. I was confident and strong. I wasn't loud. I was a young woman with something important to say. And when I looked into the mirror, I saw a tall and smart and beautiful Black girl. And that, more than anything else, is what I want all of you to know. I want you to use those tests in your lives today to make you stronger for the bigger challenges tomorrow. Because trust me, those challenges will come. No one just glides their way from success to success. Not me, not the president, not anyone being honored here tonight. Anyone who has achieved anything in life knows that challenges and failures are necessary components of success. They know that when things get hard, that's not always a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's often a sign that you're doing something right. Because those hard times are what shape you into the person you're meant to be. So one message that I want to leave you with tonight is this. The secret to everything in life, every aspiration, every opportunity is education. There is nothing more important than being serious about your education. That's the reason I'm able to stand here tonight. Because look, I worked hard in school. Education was cool for me. I did my best on every test, every paper, every homework assignment. And I want every single one of our Black girls and Black boys to do the same. I want them to do all that all the way through high school, then college, and then beyond. I want you to work as hard as you can, learn as much as you can. That is how you'll go from being Black girls who rock to being Black women who rock. That is how you will unleash the genius and the power and the passion required to rock your communities, to rock our country, to rock this world. I love you all, believe in you all, and I am confident that you will shine brightly, lighting the way for generations of our girls to come. Thank you all. God bless.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, 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 oh, glory, oh, glory.
Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against us. Yes, glory is destined. Every day, woman and man become legends. Since they go against our skin, become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom's like religion to us. Justice is juxtapositioning us. Justice for all, just ain't specific enough. One son died, his spirit is revisiting us. Truant, living in us. Resisting is us. That's why our rules are set on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. But to go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, we stand up. Shots, we on the ground. The camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, glory, glory. Now the war is not over, victory isn't won, and we'll fight on to the finish. And then the war's said and done, we'll cry glory, oh glory, we'll cry glory, glory, oh glory,
Selma's now for every man, woman, and child. Even Jesus got his crown. In front of a crowd, we march with the torch. We gon' run with it now. Never look back. We done gone hundreds of miles. From dark roads, heroes, to become a hero. Face the League of Justice. His power was the people. Enemy is lethal. A king became regal. Saw the face of Jim Crow under a bald eagle. The biggest weapon is to stay peaceful. We sing, our music is the cuts that we bleed through. Somewhere in the dream we had an epiphany. Now we right the wrongs in history. No one can win this war individually. Takes the wisdom of the elders and young people's energy. Welcome to the story we all call victory. The coming of the Lord, my eyes have seen the glory.
Hey, ladies. Good afternoon, happy Sabbath, and happy Black History Month. First and foremost, can we just give like a big round of applause, a big virtual round of applause to the Sister to Sister ministry, as they just hosted an amazing Black History celebration for Black women. And listen, it takes a lot of work to do this, especially during the pandemic, not being able to do this in person, but having to transition and make some switches to be able to provide this in an online virtual space. So let's just give them a round of applause for that. But also let's give a round of applause just for the continual uplifting of Black young ladies. Listen, I don't know if you all get how important this is, but it's crucial. When I was growing up, only 26, but when I was in high school a couple of years ago, they didn't have this. I didn't see this happening for young ladies. And it's just so crucial that this takes place, especially since, from my experience, I've seen that black young ladies from time to time, they're forgotten. They're forgotten. However, you even see that from the women that we've learned about today, that women make some impactful and valuable contributions to change society for the better. They do. Through their voice, they create change within their communities. They create change for the government. And listen, I want to encourage you all to do the same thing. We've learned about individuals like Sister Bethune. We learned about things about Michelle Obama, even Maya Angelou. Ladies like these have created change in the past. And listen, they were leaders, they were trailblazers, and they've given women like you a blueprint, something to follow so that you can do the same thing. So if you want to create change, if you want to lead to betterment for not only Black people, but specifically Black women, all right, I challenge you to be leaders. And you can be leaders by speaking up, speaking out. Use your voice, because your voice matters. And I say this especially because at times society, has a way of making it seem as though that individuals' voices do not matter. And growing up specifically, I've seen that a lot of times it's Black women whose voices are marginalized and who are shrunk down. But listen, I want you to speak up because you have a lot to say. All right. And you're doing an amazing work even now between balancing life and school, possibly church, extracurricular activities. Listen, you got a lot on your plate. And I already believe that you're doing an amazing work. So I just want to encourage you. And also encourage your parents who I know for a fact are doing the very best they can to raise you. They're supporting you even by making sure that you sign into Sister to Sister every month. And they're making sure that you're becoming the best person that you can be. So even thank you for coming to this, because it's in coming to spaces like these that you can become a better person, that you can indeed grow. And even thank you, parents. For even bringing them, for offering them an opportunity to do this. Because it's without your support, it's without your input that your daughter will be where she is even now. So thank you, parents. And with that, listen, I just want to make sure that you all enjoy the rest of your Black History Month because we're having fun all month, okay? It's Blackity Black, Black, Black. So, folks, let's pray. Let's close out, okay? Heavenly Father God, we say thank you so much. Thank you so much for an opportunity to emphasize, to show love to Black women. And God, to inspire young Black ladies, God. It's not easy. I know from what I've been able to see in my life that it's a tough road to live and to journey. However, I've seen it done, and I've seen it done well. And so, Lord, I'm just asking that you cover these young ladies as they continue to grow and expand. God, that they may be able to create paths to inspire the next generation of young Black ladies. And God, continue to be with Sister to Sister. This ministry has been around for quite some time, and it's been impacting ladies consistently over the past couple of years. And God, we say thank you. And so, Lord, we're just asking that you bless the leadership, that you continue to give them the energy, the creativity, and also just the resources to be able to impact these young ladies in the way that they are. And Father, give them endurance, but also give them ingenuity so that they can continue to grow, expand, and become bigger. So Father, we say thank you so much for hearing and for answering. And we say thank you for even loving Black young ladies. In the precious name of Jesus, we do pray. Amen. Amen.
See ya, We are singing. We are singing in the light of God. We are marching 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 in the light of God. We are marching. We are marching. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching. We are marching. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching. We are